Well, I became a Rotarian because my father before me was a Rotarian. And I joined, my goodness, back in the 50s. That was a long time ago. And I've enjoyed Rotary because Rotary has the kinds of basics that my father and mother brought me up. And so I like Rotary.
Gordy's father, who was still active in Rotary and had been a past governor, I didn't know him at all. He popped in from nowhere and told me that I ought to belong to Rotary. So I joined Rotary and enjoyed it because it gave me a chance to meet people that I never would have ever met, ever, because they're from all walks of life.
I first joined Rotary about 2.5 years ago when I accepted the position as Executive Director at Skills USA Council. And what had drawn me to Rotary was that I happened to know a lot of people at this club, and being a young professional, I thought it would be a good opportunity to network, but to also do some good in the community.
I have to admit I did not like Rotary the first several times. And I know you can't give up on something right away, so I thought if I don't get engaged and start to like it in 6 months, I'm going to resign. So I gave myself a 6-month time frame. And then one of the first meetings they talked about polio, eradicating polio, the international push was on then, and it's still I guess not eradicated, but almost. And that made a big impression on me.
I see them almost as a cornerstone in some way that kind of brings different organizations together.
Because of that broad spectrum of leadership people, there's a big, huge interrelationship with Rotary and what happens in a city the size of Bethlehem. There's a lot of folks who work together. Rotary is a service organization. A community like Bethlehem is pretty much oriented toward looking for its citizens to participate in the community and to provide a lot of the support for all kinds of civic and charitable organizations that the city can't afford to do by itself. And I think that relationship is what makes a city like Bethlehem pretty strong.
We've been involved very much with St. Luke's Hospital and the nursing program over there. We've been involved with historic Bethlehem and the areas that needed support in the history of our community.
It's completely volunteer driven, so it's not your tax dollars, it's not people who have an agenda, politicians, it's everyday people who want to see the best in their community.
Rotary donated an ambulance to the city of Bethlehem, and I can remember at the time I used to run at the Y, and I can remember the runners group running alongside of this ambulance for the purpose of getting the morning call to do pictures of this brand new ambulance in the city of Bethlehem, and Rotary was the reason we had a brand new ambulance.
The kettle at Christmas time for the Salvation Army, working on the Cops and Kids program, the dictionary program, Taste and Tunes, just where we're really kind of getting down and addressing the needs that we have in our community.
I think they've done a lot of good projects for Bethlehem. We did the dental campaign, the St. Luke's Dental Clinic, which we did with the Morning Star Club during my tenure, or shortly thereafter. It was a 2-year project. We raised $125,000 to fund the dental van and the dental clinics, and that was a big push. They run a lot of projects in Bethlehem. They adopt parks, they clean up parks. I know they're still doing that.
I've got a wife, I've got 2 little kids, and I work here. So, I, like most Rotarians, have a vested interest in the city of Bethlehem.
I really like the people here. I think it's been a really good experience for me to come every week and talk to different people, learn about their lives, kind of enrich my life a little bit. It's something I actually really look forward to.
The year that I ran for mayor, I was the president-elect of Rotary, and I had to withdraw because I was going to be running for mayor and it was going to take an inordinate amount of time. And I stood up in front of Rotary and I said that I was not going to be able to fulfill my obligation to serve as president, but I wanted them to know that being a part of Rotary is what gave me the confidence to say yes. That they was a room full of people who were leadership people in Bethlehem, who I, in all probability, would not have known if I didn't belong to Rotary, and it gave me some level of confidence that I knew people in the community and I could run for mayor.
You know, I didn't join it to get business, and my manager at the time didn't understand that, because when I used to leave work to go to meetings, did you get business yet? I said, you don't join for that reason. The business, I did get business from the club, but I never joined for that reason. It's kind of an ancillary thing. A lot of friendships. You have people from all different professions and jobs and everything, and it's pretty interesting. And it's interesting to see what grabbed each of us to Rotary, what got us engaged.
I try to see if there's ways that I can integrate different domains of my life, you know, so are there things I can do that help me develop professionally, but also give back to the community, help me network, help me meet people, and have a positive impact in general. And so to me, you know, that's what it's done.
I chair the Taste and Tunes Committee. That has been a completely different experience than I've been used to working in events for several years. It's an entirely volunteer committee, and these people are really passionate about what they're doing and the work they're doing, and sometimes it really challenges us to think of different ways to solve issues. But ultimately, I mean, we choose a great beneficiary locally every year. I think we're doing a lot of good work, and it is an opportunity for newer and veteran Rotarians to work together.
I really like when we have guest speakers that come from nonprofit organizations. I mean, to me, that's where we can learn a lot about what other people are doing to positively impact the community. And so there's a parallel between those nonprofit organizations and what Rotary is all about.
Rotary has moved ahead and tried to incorporate itself in a way that everybody can benefit. And I like that. And I like seeing young people come into Rotary, and we have more and more younger people coming into Rotary because they're going to be the ones that are going to be part of the future.
I'd like there to be more diversity, you know, so kind of age and ethnic diversity. I think there's an opportunity there so that we better reflect the city of Bethlehem.
Women are now part of it, which is a big change and I think very healthy. It was very controversial when they started to bring women into Rotary, and that was a big change for many Rotarians.
In 1987, the Supreme Court ruled that Rotary could not exclude women in this country as members. I joined in 2000, the year 2000, and there was probably a handful, probably at most 10 women in the room then. I believe the first woman in our club was the mid to late 90s. It was a great experience. I picked a great president-elect. Unfortunately, he's no longer in the club, but it was Ron Horvath, and he was very attentive to details, so he was a great compliment. I'm kind of more ad hoc, so we made a great team, and he went on to be a great president. I think, you know, everybody was very supportive.
I'd really like to see us to continue to be committed to, you know, the young residents of the city of Bethlehem, you know, particularly middle school and high school students that are trying to, you know, complete high school, attend college, and then go through college successfully so that they can come back and be contributing citizens of Bethlehem.
Rotary is not only local, and it is very much local because it's interested in what's going on in the community, but it's involved with international programs. The student exchange programs have been outstanding and that Rotary has sponsored. The programs for kids, such as the leadership camps, it's really outstanding, and we've been involved in a lot of those. The group study exchange programs where the Rotarians themselves go and spend a period of time studying what goes on in another country and learning to interact with each other and learning what the world is all about and what Rotary is all about, to show that we care and get along and aim for peace.
There aren't a lot of service clubs that have been active and successful for 100 years. I mean, I'm familiar with service clubs, and I know that some of them have really struggled to survive, and In fact, they consolidated, and in a lot of cases they become a Lehigh Valley-wide club instead of just a Bethlehem club. And in our case, we've spun off clubs. I think there were over 150 members in our club when I was really active and was president. And we spun off a Morning Star club, and then we spun off a club that meets down in Saucon Valley at DeSales. And those spin-offs have been successful clubs, and if you added all those members together to what was originally the Bethlehem Rotary Club, I think you'd see that it's every bit as strong today as it was 30 years ago. And it fills a void. I think Bethlehem could be a pretty sterile place without the kinds of people that are giving back through clubs like Rotary.